Hello, Mike German here from Visual Animation. Today we're going to be slicing stuff up. Loads of fun. Right, so as you can see on the screen, this one's been cached and it's like a sausage on a chopping board with the knife animated separately, just to give you that feel that it's being sliced. So yeah, nice effect. So let's get on and let's show you how to do this. Right, we're going to start with a new screen like we always do, so there's nothing on there, and let's start building this. So we're going to do it very simply, this one. You can cut up lots of different objects as long as they've been remeshed and they're just one mesh piece. So what we'll do is we'll start with some simple objects just to show you the system, then you can obviously build on this or download some of my files below if you want to do that. So we're going to make like a sausage, like you've just seen, and a chopping board. So we'll have a capsule and we'll have a cube. So the cube, let's just bring that down like that. Make it bigger than the sausage like that. Then let's bring that to the top so we know what we're doing. Bring the sausage up there. Right. There we go. So now, how do we get this cut up? Right, what we do is we use a dynamic, we use a MoGraph effect here that you've probably used lots of times before, the Voronoi fracture. Gosh, I should put my teeth in this morning. The Voronoi fracture. Right, so let's press Alt and click there. So there we go, done. That's what happens with the Voronoi fracture. We get a crazy paving look, which is not what we want for this. We want some regular slices, that go along the sausage here. So the reason we're getting that is if we look on the Voronoi fracture settings and go to source, it's using a point generator, which tends to be like a noise pattern. We've got shaders and distribution sources here which tend to give you this kind of pattern, like a broken glass effect, which is great for that. But we want this to be driven by another source to give it a more even pattern. So we'll delete the point generator. And what we'll do is we'll use a matrix. Okay, now we'll use a matrix as a linear. And let's just pull it over to the front here so it's in front. Actually, if we go from the top view, we can see what we're doing a lot better. So let's zero out the Y, and we want this to go along the Z like that. And we also want it to be at the beginning. So if we drag it back to the start, and then we change the mode per step to endpoint, and then we increase this Z direction until it goes just past the end of the sausage at the other end. And now we decide on count how many slices we want along the sausage. So let's just start with 10, and then we have 10 matrix squares. Right, so if we go back to our perspective view, we're now going to go back to Voronoi fractures sources, and we're going to drive the source pattern here by the matrix. So we drop the matrix into sources, and then we get this lovely tube that looks a little bit like a pack of sweets. Right, so what we're going to do now is add some dynamics to this, because I want to show you what is happening. So on the cube, which is this board, we're going to add a collider, and on the Voronoi fracture, let's rename that sausage just so we know for clarity what we're doing, and we can even call that board just so we know what's happening. On the sausage, we're going to add a rigid body tag. Okay, so if we just press play now, we get that. Okay, so it's breaking up this into all of these pieces, but that's not an animation of slicing. That is just a piece broken up and it falls apart. So how do we get it to slice along? We need something like a linear path, don't we, that travels along it. So that's what we're going to find. So if we go into Voronoi fracture and we go along here to geometry glue, this is where we're going to get our effect. So we click on geometry glue, enable it, leave it as fall off, and then we add a glue fall off here. Click on fall off up here, and then we add a linear field into this field here. And as you can see, it's facing the wrong way, so we need to go plus Z. And now if we just drag this along, look, we've now got a control over when the slices will activate. Okay, so we can go right back to the beginning before the slicing, And on the timeline at 0, we can add record a point there. We can then, let's add some more frames. 90 is not really enough. Let's add about 300. And let's advance to 120 and then move the linear path through. And let's cut to say about there. And then record another key path there. Keyframe, sorry. So now if we rewind this and we press play, it will chop it off like that. So that is the principle of slicing. There's a few extra things we can do with this. I mean, obviously it's all procedural, which is great news, because we've now, say, sliced it into these 10 segments. We could go to matrix now and say, let's have 20 segments, okay? And it will just work it out on the same path that we've just done, the same linear recorded path, but it'll work it out on 10, okay? The colouring, so let's just go to sausage, let's go to sources, object, and let's turn off the colorized fragments, because we're going to add our own color. I want you to see how we do that. And also we can do an offset fragment here. We could just put in like a 1, and then it will give a bit more gap between them. You know, if we increase this to 5, you see that there's a much bigger gap. So it depends on what item, knife blade, something thicker like a chopper or something that is going to cut this. You could increase the offset fragment here to give it a much wider gap, if you see what I mean. You know, so it's allowing for the blade, you know, to cut through. So let's just put that down to something like 1 for now. The other thing you could do, if you had a hollow object, like a pepper, you know, something like peppers which have got an outer edge and they've got more of a hollow inside, we could use hull only, and we could say how thick we want the hull to be on there, look, and then if we press play, we should get some nice hollow pieces being cut out rather than solid pieces, which is a real nice effect as well, look. Okay, so let's just put that back now for this. So for this, we've actually got a sausage which is more solid. Right, so colouring this, if we just create, let's just create a couple of standard materials. Let's just go for like a sausage brown skin colour, and let's copy that, and let's have a lighter brown, which could be the inside meat. Okay, so what we do on the Voronoi Fracture, there's a selections tab at the end. If we click on that and we click on inside faces and outside faces, okay, and we're simply just going to drop these two on, and then we're going to reference them in the right way. So that one is the outside, sorry, the outside, got the wrong one, and then this one is the inside. So now when we cut it, we've now got this lovely kind of sausage look. I think you may have noticed that we've got it quite low poly at this point, but because it's procedural, we can go back into Capsule and we can say, right, 16 rotations, let's make that 40, and suddenly the whole thing smooths out. So really nice effect. If you want to play around with other objects, all means it will, you know, as long as they're simple and they've been remeshed to be one piece. You don't want complex items with lots of pieces that are not meshed together. They'll all fall apart with the dynamics. Okay, so keep it as a nice simple object, like cut a lemon in half, that kind of thing. And then so there are some examples below if you just want to do that. I think I've got some different fruits and things in there that I've cut up, and then it's got all the textures on as well, because you need the inside of the lemon, don't you? The inside of an orange, the inside of like the peppers, you want all of that as well. So I've done some examples that you can have. So yeah, have fun. It's a great little system, and I'll speak to you very soon in another video using dynamics and possibly rigid bodies again. I'll see you very soon. My name is Mike German from Visual Animation. Take care. Goodbye for now.